What are we even watching?
Welcome back, my delinquents. Today we're watching another Fat Electrician. 5 experimental grenade launchers you've never heard of. Let's get into it. I saw Starship Trooper-like guns and I clicked. That's it. That's all we got.
Today we're talking about the top 5 coolest grenade launchers you've probably never even heard of. That being because most of them were experimental and never actually made it to the battlefield, and of the ones that did, they were only used by special operations because, again, they were experimental, or they were too expensive and too awesome to give to the regular grunts. I'll be ranking them in order from what I personally think to be the least to most cool, a totally unquantifiable metric that somebody in the comments will still tell me I'm wrong about, and I will be starting this list off with a...
True, every top 10 or top 5 list ever, no matter what level you put it on, someone's gonna argue in the comments, but that's part of the fun, isn't it?
An honorable mention because it is not technically a grenade launcher. It is, however, the forefather of all grenade launchers, ladies and gentlemen, rifle grenades. Yeah, that is an M1 Grand, aka the Elder Gat, and yes, it is about to launch a grenade. Didn't know that was a thing, did ya? This concept was invented by the British in World War II, and then it was promptly stolen by a bunch of other countries, including the US. Obviously, this led to a bunch of different variants that all function slightly differently. However, the overall concept is the exact same. One way or another, mount a grenade to the end of your service rifle, in this case the M1 Garand. Then, rather than chambering a normal round, you would chamber a blank and fire. The gas pressure from the blank would then propel the grenade through the air, thus giving the world the first example of death by dial-up. Now,
Death by dial-up? That is a funny looking gun. I find the rocket launchers to be the funniest guns.
if you know absolutely nothing about guns, this is a normal round compared to a blank round. Can you spot the difference?
Yeah.
That is right. One of them has a projectile and the other one does not. I like to call that the
Yeah, I totally picked that up. Yeah, totally.
Test. Moving on. Kicking off our list at number 5, we have the Mark 18 Mod 0. Originally used in Vietnam for a short period of time. Easiest way I can explain what it is a Gatling gun that shoots 40mm grenades. Yeah, the faster you turn that hand crank, the more grenades you're gonna shoot. It's like an Amish version of the Mark
that is crazy. That is like something straight out of Doom looking stuff.
19. Bad boy runs on butter churning to body vaporizing technology. Speaking of the Mark 19, aka the machine gun that shoots grenades, this is actually the Mark 19's dad, because it would eventually turn into the Mark 19. See what they did there? Mark 18, Mark 19. Anyways. You just used metric. That means that the metric system must be better. Look, I understand your confusion, but I will explain.
I'm taking that out of context, and we're just gonna run with it. The metric system is better.
2 situations where an American will use the metric system. That being ammo and drugs. Drugs because we want plausible deniability. You can't get me in trouble for having a gram if I don't know what a gram is. I think. And
Wait, do Americans still use like grams and whatnot for drugs over there? I assume they would use their own system, not the metric system for that. Is drugs measuring universal?
Ammunition because that's technically not ours. That's the bad guys. We just haven't given it to them yet. I mean, bad guy or not, we would hate for them to be dead and confused. Moving on to number 4, we have kind of a twofer, and it may have to be its own video one day.
Yep, dead and confused. The worst possible combo.
Because it is a giant pile of hot garbage. Basically, in the early 2000s, the military had a future weapons program, and shit just got out of hand. There's no other way to explain it. Because this is what they came up with, the H&K XM29. I have to take a deep breath. That's how ridiculous this gun is. That is a 20mm bullpup smart grenade launcher with an integrated 6x thermal...
That is some sci-fi looking gun right there.
...scope, rangefinder, and an underbarrel 5.56 carbine. And they wanted every grunt in the military to have one. Yeah. I have no idea what they were thinking. I can only assume they saw the greatest movie of all time, Starship Troopers, saw this.
We have the weapon.
Is this the gun that was in the Starship Trooper episode I watched of his? I remember. It looks slightly different.
Oh my god, I have to have it. Thankfully, however, somebody with common sense along the way would convince them that giving every grunt in the military a 20mm smart grenade launcher that
it is that one. It just looked like a different clip of it. Yeah, I think that it is the one from the previous video I watched.
A bunch of electronics in it as a main battle weapon was a terrible idea. So the government would then realize they were wasting taxpayers' dollars and abandon the project. That was a really bad joke, I'm sorry. Obviously, they kept the project going because they're the government and they never want to admit they're wrong. So they then split the weapon into 2. The rifle would become the XM8 project, which was also a failure, but we're not talking about that today. The grenade launcher would become the XM25, and that's actually where it gets kind of cool. So it is a smart grenade launcher, and what that means...
Oh, yeah, the smart grenade launcher. Yes, that...
Instead of just firing
all
a
coming
grenade
back.
and having it detonate on impact, you can actually use the laser rangefinder and program the grenade to go off at a certain distance as opposed to on impact. So this would be helpful for when, example, an enemy was hiding behind cover. You could program the grenade to detonate right above their head. It would look kind of like this. And while that concept is super cool, the XM25 itself was fielded with the Rangers overseas. After testing it for a little bit, they found it to be such a piece of shit they wouldn't even carry it on a mission, thus
But yes, yeah, I remember from the video, it was like the battery was bad, it was heavy, and some other things that just made it not as useful as just another guy with a gun.
3 on our list, we have the Mark 47 Striker. This is essentially the new and improved Mark 19, that improvement being basically all the electronics I just explained to you from the XM125.
Are you sure that isn't a clip from Halo? That looks like a Halo gun.
It's that, except it's been put on the Mark 19. And unlike the XM25, the Mark 47 has gotten amazing reviews from special operations units overseas, with some of them reporting they've been able to have a first round hit at 2,000 yards with a 40mm grenade, which is absolutely insane. Obviously, with so much accuracy, it's probably only semi-automatic, right? No, absolutely not. Still exclusively fully auto, because fucking America, I guess. Okay, moving on to our runner-up.
America! Fuck yeah!
The Barrett XM109, which if you know anything about guns, that looks oddly like the 50 caliber Barrett sniper rifle, because it basically is, except instead of shooting 50 BMG, it shoots 20mm grenades. You know, for when 50 BMG just isn't enough, which is like fucking never. Meaning that this entire weapons platform exists for one reason and one reason only, and that's to send a fucking message. Like this
I
is
was gonna say, like, how many situations you really need to, like, shoot a grenade?
they break out when somebody fucks with Doc. The cool part about this weapon system, though, is that the 50 cal Barrett and the XM109 are basically the same platform, which means that you don't have to carry one of each gun if you wanted both. You just have to carry both upper receivers, and the lower receiver is going to function on both of them. Meaning you could have a 50 caliber sniper rifle, and then you could leave the upper receiver for the XM109 in the Humvee.
That is handy. Like, it is really, like, I assume annoying when you have to constantly change things.
And then, you know, on the
Guns.
off chance you need it, you have it. The other reason I ranked this weapon up so high is because it's just fucking hilarious. It is a sniper rifle grenade launcher. Like, sniper rifle, one shot, one kill, ultra precise. Grenade launcher, fucking put one over there. Somewhere. They literally took two polar opposites, mashed them into one gun, and it's the most American shit I've ever seen in my life. And now we get to our number one, the coolest grenade launcher of all time. Or at least that's my objective opinion. No, I did not confuse subjective and objective. I know what I said, and I meant it. Ladies and gentlemen, the China Lake. Named after the China Lake Naval Center where it was developed for the Navy SEALs during
I'm already impressed with the looks of it. It does look cool already.
Vietnam. It is a 3+1 pump action 40mm grenade launcher. Only 24 were ever made, but they were used on the battlefield, and the Navy SEALs that used them reported being able to fire all 4 rounds before the first round hit the ground. You know, because wasn't already terrifying enough. The only sad part about the China Lake is that it doesn't have a bayonet lug and you can't slam fire it. Despite
That is pretty cool, and it's an interesting looking gun. It's like very video game-esque. I love it.
that, I still think it is the coolest grenade launcher of all time. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. This is definitely a different type of video, so you'll have to let me know if you like it or not. If you like it, I can definitely do more. Other than that, best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out.
Dun, 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 dun. I do like some of the short ones where it's just like ranking things, but I guess you don't get the details and the backstory of it. But it's good when you don't know much about guns.
A lot of you probably already know.
Like I do, I don't know much about guns, so it's good to get a little bit of a crash course, I think, these kind of like top 5s or little lists. Especially when you're learning, because like a lot of the other videos may be either you're a history buff or you already know a lot about guns. So yeah. But thanks for watching this along with me, guys. Another great Fat Electrician video. And don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell and all that stuff. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.